Look, what did you expect me to do? Burst into tears and beg you to forgive me? Isn't that what you really came in here for, Mrs. Haynes?
Not after seeing you. You're even more typical than I dared hope.
Well, honey, that goes double. Now, look, get this. I'd break up your snug little roost if I could, but I don't stand a chance. Oh, don't think it's because your husband isn't crazy about me. It's because he's the kind that lets that old-fashioned sentiment put the Indian sign on him, and that's all.
I'm glad you understand the strength of sentiment, Miss Allen, because its beauty is something you'll never know.
This happens to be my room, Mrs. Haynes.
It's yours, yes, for the time being, like everything else you've got. May I suggest if you're dressing to please Stephen? Not that one. He doesn't like such obvious effects.
Thanks for the tip. But when anything I wear doesn't please Stephen, I take it off. Take a good grip on yourself. You're going to die. Stephen Haynes is stepping out on Mary. You're very confident, aren't you?
Yes, because I know Stephen couldn't love a girl like you.
Well, if he couldn't, he's an awfully good actor.
L'amour, l'amour. That's French for love.
You should have licked that girl where she licked you. In his arms.
Oh, the publicity. La publicité.
Well, you're getting just exactly what you deserve. And plenty of the girls that tickle to death. I hate you. I hate you. Miss Fowler, you got the hysterics. And by the way, there's a name for you ladies, but it isn't used in high society, outside of a kennel.
I've had 2 years to grow claws, Mother. Jungle Red.
Get me a bromide and put some gin in it.
Hello, I'm film historian Tony Maeda.
And I'm Brad Shreve, who's just a guy who likes movies.
We discuss movies and television from Hollywood's golden age. We go behind the scenes and share our opinions, too.
And of course, being the average guy, my opinions are the ones that matter.
As does your self-delusion. Welcome to Going Hollywood.
Did you get her innuendo?
Tony, we have a special guest as we talk about the women today.
We do? Is it a woman? Please.
No, it's not a woman, but however, it is a 137-year-old man. So you need to talk slowly. He'll be a little slower. But we have the one, the only, Maurice Chevalier with us today.
Maurice, welcome.
Bonjour.
And Maurice, I would have just kind of glided over the fact that your name is Maurice Chevalier, since, you know, it used to be that old women would get excited. Now nobody even knows who Maurice Chevalier is.
True.
However, given that this podcast we deal with classic Hollywood, I figured people probably would know the famous Maurice Chevalier.
Oh, I think so.
And folks, Maurice is my husband, and I can tell you this, he cannot sing nor can he dance.
He's shaking his head.
Not in the same manner that Maurice A. Chevalier did.
Now, the scary thing is, his parents did name him after the man himself, the actor. And Maurice was born, the scary part is he was born almost exactly 9 months after the Maurice Chevalier died.
So freaky.
Which is a little spooky.
Very freaky.
Shall I add to that one, Brad?
Yes.
Okay, I was also born one day after Maurice Chevalier's birthday. His birthday was on the 12th of September. Mine is on the 13th of September.
This is so weird. This is so crazy. I can't. And this movie does not have Maurice Chevalier in it. I guess we should say that right off the bat.
Yes.
No.
Yes. But the reason why we have Maurice on is Maurice he's always thrown out movies to me that you and Tony need to do this and you and Tony need to do that. And sometimes they're great. And sometimes they're like, I'm like, sounds like a great movie, but it doesn't really fit our format, especially if it's since it wasn't before 1990. Mm-hmm. But this is a movie that I really enjoyed. And I'm like, okay, we're finally going to do it. And so we decided to do it for our holiday episode, on our final episode of this season, right, which is season number 2. We are going to come back. We kind of kept saying this was the final episode last week. We hinted that it was the final episode of the season. I want to make sure people understand this is the final episode of the season. We will be back.
Season. Yeah, we didn't just hint.
Of this season.
We said it. I've been saying it now for episodes that you weren't a part of, mister. I've been saying we got 2 more and we're done with season 2, but coming back for season 3, God willing. Yeah, the end. This is our season finale of Going Hollywood season 2. Yes.
I only halfway listened because I wasn't on, so I didn't see much point.
And this is episode 37, I counted. For me. For you, this is episode, what, 17, 18? How many episodes were you?
Oh, come on. I missed, what, 3 episodes? 4? What is it?
5.
Anyway, that all goes about saying is that we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies. And thank you, Maurice, for suggesting this, because I never thought that we'd talk about it, because I didn't think Brad liked it. But it's from 1939, from MGM. And yes, it is indeed The Women. You have 3 men talking about a film with not one single man in it. 134.
But it's all about the men.
But it's all about the men. It's all about the men. Maurice, you have a really interesting history with The Women. And I think that's one of the reasons why you wanted to talk about it, right? What's your history with The Women?
Well, a previous boyfriend actually was a director, and I did the locally in Los Angeles, and we did the play, revamped the play. It was right around the same time that it came back to Broadway, and they did changes to the play. They updated some of the references and what have you in the play for the Broadway edition.
Right.
My boyfriend at the time absolutely hated the references that they brought up, because they brought up things like the Beatles and Shirley Temple, and which were not things during the Broadway play. So he actually got a signed copy of the Claire Boothe Luce original script for the play, signed, which was awesome.
Fabulous.
And so we did that. And he's always been a lover of the movie. It's one of those things watching it. Since I've seen it, I've just been enamored with it. So it's been a lot of fun. I did the artwork for the stage play here locally in Los Angeles, and then the stagehand helping the women get in and out of their costumes. So we had 13 women doing all of the different characters in this play, which has, God, I want to say 50 or 60 characters in it, minimum.
Yeah, well, the film has 134 women in it, so that's that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I think that, it was revived. We're going to talk about that. It was revived in 2000 with Cynthia Nixon playing the Norma Shearer role. It had some interesting people. It had Jennifer Coolidge in it. It had Kristen Stewart playing the Sylvia role. But, of course, my favorite as Countess de Love was none other than a golden girl herself, Rue McClanahan, which I think, obviously the Countess de Love in the revival was not, she was from the South. In Rue McClanahan's hands, everything's from the South. So that's so interesting. Well, I think I want to say before we start, you two, there's a name for you ladies, but it isn't used in high society outside of a kennel. My favorite, one of my favorite lines, not written by Claire Boothe Luce, P.S., written by Anita Loos. It's easy to confuse them. The screenwriter who came in and adapted Claire Boothe Luce's play, The Women. So that's interesting. She changed a lot of dialogue too from the play to the movie. Did you find that? Did you find that when you were watching the movie, Maurice?
For me, yeah. I think Brad also was looking some of the stuff up, but I knew a lot of the dialogue had changed from the movie. There's a lot of different things that had been changed. Some of the aspects of the film itself, with the focus in the film, was slightly different than the play itself.
Right.
And that's where I'm going to jump in. I love this film, but Tony, I always have a but in there.
Always.
And we kind of hinted that we both have the same but on this film, and it's basically dated in many ways, especially when it comes to women. Though, as we're watching the movie, I'm like, there's no way that this was in the play. And I kept saying that. There's no way this was in the play. And I was right. Most of my gut feelings were not in the play, or it was definitely changed, I should say. Mm-hmm. And my favorite line, when I looked it up and looked up, what the changes were, there is a line in the play that Norma Shearer, Mary says. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it right now. She says, "I've had to swallow my pride, but I'll be damned if I'll lose my place." That is the movie I want to see.
Oh, well, that sure as hell ain't in the 39 movie. That's for sure.
Not this, I love my husband, I'll take him back no matter what the hell he's done to me. No, that is the movie I want to see. But doesn't change. I did love this movie. And I do realize it was 1939, the Hays Code, they had to change things. And people wanted a woman that they could love and adore, not one that was a little bit cutting on edge. So I get it. And that's why I can still enjoy it.
I want to say, in addition to Anita Loos writing this screenplay, it was also written by Joseph Breen, the head of the Production Code Administration, because of the fact that there's so many changes had to be made, and he actually suggested lines. I mean, this is what gets my back up about the Production Code Administration, is these were not writers. He had no right to go in there and suggest changing lines written by a playwright, but he did it. He made certain changes to the script. And frankly, I feel that the script by Anita Loos is much funnier than the play. I like the play, but I don't know. I feel like it was also co-written by Jane Murfin. I should say that, the screenplay. But you know what I want to say also? I was going to say to people who have difficulty wrapping their minds around this kind of mentality, putting yourself in 1939 to accept what this movie is about in society. How many of you are addicted to or were addicted to The Real Housewives? Because this is exactly the same thing. This is The Real Housewives of New York in 1939. They even have a countess. There's even a countess in the women. It's exactly what it is, right? Don't you think that?
Well, I mean, Claire Boothe Luce actually wrote this because she was part of high society,
right?
And she hated it. So that's why she wrote the play.
Yeah, it's an indictment. The play and the film are an indictment and a satire on these women who you have nothing better to do but to eat. They're ladies who lunch and they eat themselves for lunch. Basically, they're their own meals.
Yeah, good way of putting it. Yeah.
So that's what this play is. So people have to realize that when they say, "Oh, yeah," I mean, it's of its time, yes, but it's also a satire of its time and of these women whose concerns are no more than, you're right, Maurice. It's all about the men. The only thing on these women's minds are the men. That's it. That's all.
That literally is the tagline of the play.
Yeah, and I think of the movie too. It's all about men, yeah. Nothing but women.
It's all about the men, yeah.
Should we go over... Okay, so one of the interesting things about this film that I love, actually, and I want to get your take on this, both of you, is the fact that the film opens with the actresses being depicted and their, air quotes, spirit animals, which I love. Anytime I see this movie in an audience, people scream because we're just... You know what I'm saying? So I want to go through the cast and give out their spirit animals. Or this is what I'll do, since we have Maurice.
Before you do that, watching this movie with Bradley, he's looking at this and going, why? And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is perfect.
No. It's cringy, but I love it. Well, you gotta realize
it's suspect.
It's cringy, but I love it. I'm like,
it is so suspect on so many levels to equate these women with animals. All female animals, by the way. Every single female, every single animal is a female animal. So, I mean, they were really covering their bases. But let me do this. Let me give the actress's name and the character, and I want you guys to tell me the spirit animal, okay? So, of course, at the very beginning, we have, she's such a pain, Norma Shearer as Mary Haynes. Who's her animal?
A doe.
A deer.
Yes, a female deer. Ray, a drop of... No, yes, it's a deer. Mary Haynes is a deer, a fawn in the forest. My favorite, well, not my second favorite, Joan Crawford as Crystal Allen. And do we know what Crystal's...
Hold on. She was third in the lineup.
No, she was second.
No.
Yes.
There's a whole contract thing I was going to go into about the fact that it's Joan Crawford had to have star billing because she was the third of the big three at MGM. So anyway, Joan Crawford is indeed next.
Yeah, when the credit opens up, it has Norma Shearer and Joan Crawford right next to each other. And then below that, in just slightly smaller font, it says Rosalind.
You know why that is? Because Norma Shearer had to give permission for Rosalind Russell to get co-star billing. And she said, yes, only if Miss Russell's billing is no larger than 50% of my billing in perpetuity. So that's why even when you see DVDs to this day of the women, Rosalind Russell's name is smaller because it's in Norma Shearer's contract. So we had Joan.
Oh my God, this is like a movie of egos.
That's what I'm saying.
Beyond the
You
movie.
forget Feud and whatever happened to Baby Jane. It's the women. That's where the miniseries is, Ryan Murphy. All right. So again, Joan Crawford as Crystal Allen. What is her animal?
Cheetah. It's supposed to be a cougar, but it
I'll
looks
give you
more
that.
like
It's
a cheetah.
leopard. I'll give you that. It's a leopard. It's a leopard. Now we have Miss Russell, probably my favorite in this film, as Sylvia Fowler. And what is her animal?
Oh, the cat.
Hers is a cat.
That's right.
But I don't remember what
cat.
type.
It's a black.
Okay.
It's a black cat.
Just a black cat.
It's a black cat. All right. Some of these these are very tricky, so I'll help you out too. Mary Boland, the fabulous Mary Boland as the Countess de Love, La Publicité.
She was
Flora. What is hers?
She was the
oh, I don't remember.
She's a monkey.
Oh, she was the monkey.
She's a monkey.
She was the monkey. Okay, I knew there was a monkey in there.
Yeah, that was the one I thought was most offensive, other than the cow.
Well, we'll get to that. Paulette.
No, the cow was fitting. But anyway.
Paulette Goddard as Miriam Aarons. Think about who she was. She was very, very sly as a
fox. Yes.
She was a fox. Phyllis Pova as Edith Potter is the cow because Phyllis Potter is always eating. Edith is always eating. Oh, Edith, you are a bore.
Yep.
Yes, and she asks, "Excuse me, girls, while I unswallow." I have to unswallow. Okay, and here's the one, the insufferable. Joan Fontaine as Peggy Day. And do we have anybody want to venture a guess on who Peggy's spirit animal is? She's so bad in this movie.
She was the lamb because she's the baby of it. Yeah, she was the innocent.
And you actually commented on that she's the innocent one, though.
Yeah.
Now, here's yours, Brad. Virginia Wilder as a Little Mary. And what is Little Mary's animal?
She is a fawn.
She is.
Baby deer.
And we have Lucille Watson as Mrs. Moorhead, Norma's mother.
The owl, the wise one. Though I don't think she was really that wise, but she seemed to think she was.
Yeah. And finally, last but never, ever, ever, ever least.
One of Brad's favorites.
Oh, I love her to death.
Marjorie Main as Lucy. She
is.
What is Marjorie Main?
She is the horse Nan with her big open mouth. And, and actually when I saw it, I said right away, I need to ask Tony a question. Marjorie is most known for playing Ma Kettle. Was she ever in any kind of role other than was she ever in a glamorous role, I should say?
Have you seen Marjorie Main? No, of course not. Oh, no. Actually, Marjorie Main and Phyllis Pova were the only two actresses who were in the original play.
Oh, really?
Didn't know that. Interesting.
I mean, after this, she went on and played, as you said, Ma and Pa Kettle. She was in Meet Me in St. Louis. She's in The Long, Long Trailer. And she plays the same character over and over.
Well, yeah. I was sitting here watching Ma Kettle. Definitely.
Yeah.
On top of Old Smoky. Okay. It's great. All right, so that's our main cast. We also have Virginia Gray cameo or a small appearance by Hedda Hopper.
Yes.
As Dolly DePeister. And we have Florence Nash. And as I said, the screenplay was written by Anita Loos and Jane Murfin based on the play by Claire Boothe Luce. So I think before we start this, I want to say that again, this film, The Women, released in 1939, which is widely regarded to be Hollywood's greatest year. There's even a documentary called 1939 Hollywood's Greatest Year because we got Gone with the Wind, we got The Wizard of Oz, we got Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Goodbye, Mr. Chips, Dark Victory, Ninotchka. I mean, these are some big movies, and The Women is a part of that. I've always adored this movie, and I think that what I love the most about it is the fact that it is unapologetically high class and slapstick, baggy pants comedy. That's pretty much Rosalind Russell through the whole thing. What do you guys think?
I felt like I was watching Monty Mame the whole time with Rosalind Russell because that's my mind. That's what I equate Rosalind Russell with. That level of character.
Yeah.
But you also commented about what a great actress she was, that she was able to be so. You despise the woman in this movie, and yet you love and adore her in Auntie Mame. But in a lot of ways, they're very similar.
Well, but
they're very similar in their
right.
actions.
You don't love her in this?
You have to love to hate her.
I love her in a different way. You love to hate her, but you hate her nonetheless because she's an awful person in this one.
She is
But
a horrible
in
person.
Auntie Mame, she's just a sheer delight. She's just kind of avant-garde.
But there's a lovable quality to her. Even as nasty as Sylvia can be, you still, because you laugh at her because she's her own worst enemy. The person she hurts most is herself. And did you know this was Russell's first comedy?
No.
This is really the comedy and she credits the director. I guess we should say this film was directed by George Cukor, one of the greatest directors of the Golden Age, and she totally credits Cukor with giving her this entire career as a comedian, because after this she went on to His Girl Friday, she went on to My Sister Eileen, and Auntie Mame.
And His Girl Friday is another one. I'm putting it on here now. You guys need to do His Girl Friday. Awesome film.
All right.
He's been on our case to do His Girl Friday for a while, and rightfully so. But, what really amazes me is this, as you said, it's a 1939 film. It's a George Cukor film, and yet you don't hear about it that much. I don't think most people know this film that well.
You don't hear about the women?
No, I don't think. I would say the general, probably not the listeners to this show, but I think generally speaking, if you brought up to people the movie The Woman, their eyes would glaze over.
I don't think so. I think they're going to equate it with the updated version with Goldie Hawn and some of the others.
I hope not, but maybe. I don't think that movie did very well. I don't think that movie did very well.
Yeah,
it did.
It did.
Horrible.
It bombed.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
bombed. It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie. That's the second remake. There was another remake in the 50s, which we'll get to. Oh. But I think that I think you may have a point there, Brad. However, I think that movie fans know this film. And I think if you go to anybody in the street and you say Ninochka, or you say maybe not Goodbye, Mr. Chips, if they read, or you say almost a lot of films from 39, maybe not Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, but I mean it's just a different. I mean, we're talking about 90 years ago here, 80 years ago. Somebody do the math for me. I can't do math. But anyway, so the play was a big hit. It ran 657 performances, and I also want to say that now. How the story of how this film got past the Production Code Administration is a podcast in itself. So I think we should just shorthand it, because needless to say, this is a film which is basically about an adulterous relationship. And that's one of the commandments of the
not
PCA.
Just one, a lot of adulterous relationships.
Many. It's adulterous relationships and husband swap.
This movie, this movie was the precursor to the 7-Year Itch. Basically, men cannot keep it in their pants, and the women just live with it.
No, it's so true.
The 7-Year Itch, though, is kind of the looking at it from the Joan Crawford character's role.
I can see that.
Not completely.
No, I can see where you're saying that.
You're getting it more from the 7-Year Itch is much more from the male and the woman he's seeing, the mistress point of view versus the wife's point of view. This is literally the wives seeing what's going on and then jibber jabbering and talking about each other and how awful would it be if they found out, and yeah.
Except in the 7-Year Itch, the adultery never happens. It's all
true.
In the movie.
Here the adultery is really, yes. Yeah. Here the adultery is really happening, and the husband swapping is really happening. But I think what's interesting, like we said when we talked about The Bad Seed, when this play was a success, the PCA sent, headed at this time by that prissy little prig, Joseph Breen, sent a letter to all the studios saying, don't even bother. This play will never be suitable for the screen. And still, like with The Bad Seed, they said, oh, yeah, Joseph Breen, we're going to make it work. And that's exactly what happened.
How many times have we heard that? We heard that with Breakfast at Tiffany's as well.
Right. Well, Breakfast at Tiffany's is also structure-wise, too. You couldn't, because it's episodic. But, yeah, no, that was the PCA. That was the Production Code Administration. They're like, there's no way this is going to be suitable for, the poor addled minds of the moviegoers. They're not sophisticated enough to understand a play on the level of The Women or The Bad Seed or anything like that. I mean, it's crazy. But it was purchased as originally a property for Claudette Colbert, with Gregory LaCava as a director. By 1939, MGM got a hold of it. And do you know that one of the writers who was brought in to try to work this out was F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is not unusual. He wrote a lot of stuff. He worked on a lot of stuff in the golden age of Hollywood. I just think it's so funny. But in order to try to appease the Production Code Administration, they considered retitling the film The Case for Chastity.
Oh, my God.
Okay, that would be as bad as basically the ending of this movie. No,
it's so crazy, right? How is the case for chastity a better title than The Women? It makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely.
It doesn't even apply. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But MGM ignored that. They moved forward. But I think I want to say that when this film went into production, it hadn't gotten clearance yet from the PCA.
Oh,
they basically went into production to make this film, not having the seal of approval from the PCA, and that's one of the reasons why Joseph Breen was rewriting dialogue, because this movie was in production. They hadn't even had approval yet, and it was originally designed. It wasn't originally designed. It was designed as a project for Norma Shearer, and then when George Cukor got fired from Gone with the Wind, he was brought on to helm this. And once George Cukor was brought on, that's when things really started to shift, and it became more of the real ensemble piece that we see today. He's also the one who insisted that Rosalind Russell be cast, and he also supported Joan Crawford in her bid, because Joan lobbied really hard for this part of Crystal Allen. This was her first out and out bitch. And I guess I want to ask you guys, what's your opinion of Joan in this movie?
You love to hate her. I hated her. I mean, she's an awful, awful person, but she's also out for number one, which is also, okay, great.
This movie made me realize, other than some exceptions like whatever happened to Baby Jane, I am really not a fan of Joan Crawford for numerous reasons. One, is she really considered a hot item? Because I don't find her very attractive in many ways. She just, I know.
Do you know? Michael said the same thing. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Joan Crawford? What? How can you say that? So he'll be happy to hear that.
Okay. I don't either. It's one of those things. I've never found her to be a hot looking woman. She's not ugly by any means.
Oh, no, not even close.
I don't think of her as a beauty bombshell, the role she's actually playing. I don't think of her in that mint. Honestly, what was the one that was the fox? I'm blanking on her character's name.
Paulette Goddard.
She actually was a bombshell.
And I'm going to shock you guys, because it has been a while since I've seen this film, and you know how I tend to forget things. I knew she was in this film, but I didn't remember that she was actually the mistress. So when they were going through the department store and they saw that very lovely young lady that was the blonde, I thought for sure...
Virginia Gray.
Yes, I thought for sure that was going to be the mistress, because she made sense. And then when they got over to Miss Crawford, I'm like, oh no, why would he... Why?
Well, what I would say is this, is that Joan really is kind of a little too old to play Crystal at this point in her career. I think that Grand Hotel Joan Crawford is kind of who we think of. In fact, I think she is more of the correct age that this Crystal Allen is supposed to be. And I think that actually affects the ending. I think you have a lot more sympathy for Joan Crawford when she has to go back to the perfume counter, because you realize this ain't a young chippy. I mean, this woman's been around the block a few times, and she's still going to have to be out there hustling. So Joan was 33-ish, 34-ish at this time, depending on what date you believe is her birth. And she was a little too old, but she wanted this part because just the year before, she had been named infamously on the list of box office poison, and her career was really having some problems. So she literally went to Louis B. Mayer and said he was horrified that she wanted this part. He's like, you can't play a bitch. You cannot play a bitch. There goes your public. And Joan said, the woman who steals Norma Shearer's husband can't be played by a nobody, Louis B. And besides, I'd play Wallace Beery's grandmother if the role was good enough.
Oh.
And that's what I love about Joan Crawford. She was so canny about her career, about what she needed to do. That's why the woman was a star from 1929 all the way up until 1970. She knew how to change her image, and she knew that she needed to do something at this point in her career, because she was having some difficulties. And I love that about her.
I have no dispute about her ability to act. I have her ability to be a businesswoman, because she had to for herself. I get that. I disagree with the fact that she is a bombshell. She is not a bombshell, at least in this movie. She was not the bombshell. However,
I get it.
The character that she played was on point.
Yes.
She played the character as it was supposed to be played.
No, absolutely. Yeah, well, I think she's spectacular in this film.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love her in this. It's one of my favorite performances of hers next to Grand Hotel and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I feel like she is so, because this is a Crawford the audiences have not seen. She is unrepentingly ambitious. She knows what she wants, and she doesn't care. That scene between them when they have the showdown, which we'll talk about, in the dressing room, she is so funny and so biting and so bitchy. And the reason is she hated Norma Shearer, and Norma Shearer hated her. But anyway, that's beside the point. The characters, she's so unfiltered in this, and I love that about her. I love the fact that she's visceral and almost animalistic in her desires.
Was there anyone that Joan liked?
Oh, Joan liked a lot of women.
Okay.
Joan and Barbara Stanwyck were great pals.
Oh, well, they're a perfect pair.
The reason I said before that, there was the feud between Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, yes, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand why everybody thinks, no, the women didn't care about each other. They weren't really in each other's orbits. But Norma Shearer was the one because, as we said during we were talking about Grand Hotel, Joan Crawford started as a showgirl. I mean, she scratched and clawed her way to the top, to the very top. And one of her very first jobs when she got to MGM as a showgirl, I think she was still Lucille Lucille. I don't even think she was Joan Crawford yet. One of her first jobs was as the back of Norma Shearer's head. Now, think about that for a minute.
Oh, I've heard these type of things. So that is not a shock, because I've heard of things in Hollywood where you have people who are the nipple on somebody's chest, and it's like, oh, what?
So think about it. To go from playing the back of Norma Shearer's head to having co-star billing with her. And another thing, at MGM, Norma was the queen of the lot. She was the queen of the lot because she was married to the head of production, Irving Thalberg. And Joan always said, Norma gets all the best parts because she sleeps with the boss. And it's absolutely true. But Joan Crawford, so there was a great deal of animosity there on Joan's part. And Norma was the queen of the lot, and she carried that with her wherever there was. So there was a great deal of tension between them. And I think that bleeds so well into this movie. Can't you just feel it when they're in that scene together?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you totally feel that angst and anger and just bitter hatred. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Brad, what were the stats? I know this is a little bit out of order. What are the stats on this movie?
Okay, well, it's good you asked because we've covered most of them, so we can kind of just wrap them up real quickly. And then I want to ask Maurice a direct question before we go further in the movie, because we really got a lot more to deep dive into. You mentioned Louis B. Mayer. It was an MGM film. Producer was Hunt Stromberg, which I'm not real familiar with, and I think you mentioned...
Wait a minute, though. Do you think about that name? We've talked about Hunt Stromberg Jr. Do you remember who Hunt Stromberg Jr. was?
I knew you were going to stop me when I said I don't remember who he was, because I was certain it's come up one time or another. But no, I don't remember at all.
Hunt Stromberg was the producer of this film, yes. His son, Hunt Stromberg Jr., was an executive at CBS who worked on the Judy Garland show.
Oh, that asshole.
And Judy had a special nickname for Hunt. And that's all we're going to say about
I think
that.
we can all guess.
All right, sorry, I interrupted you.
No,
Go
that
ahead.
was,
yes, Hunt Stromberg
the only other thing to talk about is it was a moneymaker. It was not immediately. I mean, it was a hit, but apparently the production cost was pretty pricey. But in the long run, it's done very well financially.
Well, when you plop a Technicolor fashion show
don't
in
even
the
go
middle
there.
of a movie and you completely stop the film in its tracks, you're going to go a little overboard.
And I want to talk about that, but I want to ask Maurice a direct question first, because, boy, we got to get into that damn fashion show, which apparently everybody in production hated
we will,
well.
because I have something to say about that one.
Yes, you do. But Maurice, other than having been involved in the play, I want to know very specifically what it is about this movie that you love.
Let's see. That I think, first of all, none of them should have other animals than cats. They should just be varying types of cats.
Okay.
Because there were a lot of cat fights in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I love the way the characters were played. The background of all the stuff that you guys talk about on here, besides that, it was very well done in the way the acting and directing was done, because you feel that angst between all of them. You have even little Mary, Brad, you had mentioned she seemed almost bad seed like at the beginning of when she first came up.
I kept waiting for her to pull out a knife.
She is so much more intelligent for her age than she seems to than she should be.
Mother dear, daddy darling.
Yes.
Daddy darling, mother dear. Yes. Do something. Do something.
At that time, it probably would have been okay, but I love every aspect of this film. The only thing I dislike about this is the way the ending kind of came around. We'll get into that later, but
yes, we'll get into that because that's not the ending from the play.
Oh God, no. Yeah. So, but yeah, I just love all the aspects of it. I love the fact that it was black and white. I actually originally loved the
Technicolor
fashion show in the center. However, it does stop the film completely in its tracks. There's no reason to have that in there other than, hey, look, we have Technicolor.
Yeah, that for a very long time that was cut out of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, when we have screenings, it was cut because it lifts right out. It literally stops the movie in its tracks, and there's no point. But just to see those, they're all Adrian's fashions. Adrian, the mythic costume designer who designed all the costumes for MGM film. Well, not all the costumes for MGM films, but he was Crawford's designer. He was Garbo's designer. He designed all those. And 2 years after the women, he left Hollywood and opened up his couturier shop. So it's that's Adrian saying, I'm on my way out. So we talked a little bit about the struggles with the billing and how Norma consented to have Joan because they both had in their contracts they had to have star billing. So Norma had MGM stock because Irving Thalberg left her, so she had a little more leverage than Joan did. So she got first billing. Plus, she was queen of the lot. Jones is right up there with her. But as I said, Rosalind Russell fought for getting that billing, and Norma acquiesced and said, okay, but it can't be 50%. It has to be less than 50% larger than mine. Okay, Norma. So on the first day of production, Shearer arrived to find 3 star trailers arranged outside the soundstage, with one extending out about a foot in front of the other 2.
How petty.
She was told it was, whose do you think it was? It was Miss Crawford's trailer. And she demanded that before they filmed a single foot of film that they all be lined up equally.
God.
Now, this is before a foot of film is even shot. These women are doing it to each other. But what I love about this movie is the opening. How does the movie open? What is the first thing we actually see after we see the list of characters in this movie? Do you guys remember what the very first shot is of?
We have a dogfight.
Exactly.
Right outside of Sydney's. Yes.
A literal bitch fight outside of Sydney's. So there's no question here what's going on here. Sydney's, of course, is the salon based on Elizabeth Arden. And there's a story about Sydney's and Sidney Gilleroff, the hairdresser, who actually was kind of an inspiration for this story, which I'll get to at the end if we have time. But it's so funny.
Now, you know what Sydney's in this film was.
Yeah, it was
it was the place where women go to get their skin destroyed from incredible heat lamps and have all these horrible things done to their body that probably made them age twice as fast, doing exactly what it didn't want to. I was cringing. I'm like, oh my God, what is she doing to her skin? So anyway, yes.
that solid mound of flesh is married a jockey. Yes, we have a very, very fast montage of all these women getting themselves plucked and pulled. And I still say I should have pulled a gun on that guy, same as I did with Judge McClure. And all these.
It was just beautifully done.
It puts you right into it. It's actually the second opening that was shot. Because if you notice, you have all these montages of all these women, and suddenly it dissolves to Rosalind Russell finding out about Stephen Haynes stepping out on Mary.
Yeah.
And so it's very fast. And then it goes immediately to Rosalind Russell calling Edith And did you notice that when she first calls Edith, she seems like she's eating something? Have you ever noticed that, or is it just me?
Oh no, she was definitely eating something.
Yeah,
she's sitting there chawing on something as she's
chowing on something.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and you know why I think that is? Because she's actually chewing on the best piece of gossip she could possibly have. So Cukor said, "Eat something."
Yeah.
I mean, I love this kind of shit. That's the best. I love this kind of stuff because it tells you so much about these characters. And already within 3 minutes of this movie, we already know who this character is. I mean, it's a brilliant.
And the
opening.
whole, the poor dear, how tragic, as they are grinning from ear to ear.
Oh, they weren't just grinning; they were dying of laughter.
They
They're
were giddy.
cackling. Yeah,
They're dining. They are literally dining out on this. They can't wait to go to lunch. They have to have lunch with her. What are they going to do? They have to face her. And it's just, I love that. I love that lunch scene, but how rich are these people? I mean, look at that country estate they have. And then they have that fabulous place in Manhattan in the city. It's disgusting. Yeah. But again, Real Housewives of New York. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, the other thing with that opening scene is also the pace. Every bit, as there's never a stop in conversation because they all overlap each other as they're going.
Oh, it's hard to take a breath in this film.
Yeah.
It is. It's so brilliantly constructed. It's a wonderful way to get in. And I love that lunch scene too, where we meet the rest of the women, including the one and only lesbian, Nancy.
Yes.
And we know she's a lesbian because she's basically in a man suit. That's what Adrian is telling us. This is a lesbian. And I think in the play, she says, Rosalind Russell says, "What are you, pet?" In the movie, she goes, "And what are you, pet?" And she goes, "I'm an old maid, a frozen asset." And I think in the play, the line is, "I'm a virgin, a frozen asset."
I think that's I don't remember the exact verbiage in the play, but it was something along the lines more alluding to what she is or how she identifies. Yes.
Yes, it's an interesting. But that part of Nancy is very thankless. It's a very thankless role. She doesn't even get a spirit animal. She doesn't get a spirit animal.
Oh,
nope.
God love her. Anyway, but I want to talk about, Maurice, we don't do plot by plot point on the part, but I do want to talk about a couple of my favorite scenes. What are some of your favorite scenes?
Actually, one of my favorite characters is the Countess de Love, primarily because of the person that I love from the play that I worked with.
Oh.
They both have that Southern draw, and both had that and her name alone is fabulous because it's D''Lave. So de Love is how she pronounces it. And
it's brilliant.
The L'Amour. So I love the scene of them going to the on the train heading out there, and she meets her, and she meets the Countess, and I'm blanking on the other Miriam's for the first time.
The world's widest train, I might add. But go on.
On the train to Reno, because it's all divorcees going to Reno.
Which is also mind-blowing. You have to get a divorce. So where do you go? You live in New York. You travel to the West Coast to get your divorce. It's insane.
That's crazy.
But
no,
at
that
the
was
time,
very true, though. That was what you did. Yeah.
So the Countess de Love, I love the whole scene on the train because you get a sense of who these people really are, these two people. And I love Miriam's character. The character of Miriam is just so brilliant. She's just so unapologetically, this is who I am, and I don't care.
I love Paula Goddard. I agree with you. She's a very underrated actress, I think, Paula Goddard. This was right after she lost Scarlett O'Hara.
Oh.
She was so close to getting Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, and then they found Vivian Leigh. So, I mean, this was kind of like a consolation prize for her. Not really much of a consolation prize. She was also with Charlie Chaplin, so she really didn't have much to complain about. But I love Mary Boland, the brilliant Mary Boland, who plays the Countess de Love, Flora, l'amour, oh, la publicité. She's such a wonderful character. I love Miriam. One of my favorite scenes is the ambush scene when Sylvia and Edith, Roz Russell, and Filippova sneak up on and discover Joan Crawford. And it's the first time we see Joan Crawford. Yeah. And I love the fact that Joan Crawford has that wonderful phone call with Stephen and all these little asides. And Virginia Gray, who plays Pat, her coworker, keeps doing little jabs at her. Like, because Joan Crawford is being syrupy sweet on the phone with Stephen, and she's like, because he's trying to break their date, and she goes, "I got a rather disturbing letter from home today. My sister's not doing well at all." And Pat goes, "What's wrong with her? She got a hangover?"
And I wanted to vomit, not only because she was the way she acted, but the fact that he fell for it.
Oh, come on.
I don't mean vomit in a bad way. I meant that's the way I was supposed to feel. I mean, it was like,
well, I mean, it is so over the top, syrupy sweet. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And I agree with you, Tony. That scene, having all of that happen, and then you get Edith and Sylvia coming in, sneaking around like, oh, we're these big investigators. Like, you guys are the Keystone Cops. I mean,
sneaking
seriously.
up on her. It's such and that exchange. I'm sorry, but one's mind is on one's own business. And Sylvia goes, "That's right." And you have so many men. I mean, there's just the barbs at each other.
It was beautiful.
Brilliant. Come back again, Mrs. Prowler. That's Fowler.
Yeah, it's actually probably one of the best films in the film, or best scenes in the film. It was just so well done.
Yeah.
The dialogue is brilliant. Russell goes from high comedy to baggy pants. You know, she goes, "Did you see her? Did you get her innuendo?" And then she turned, she's going, "I'll have her discharged. I'll go straight to the manager." And she turns and falls into that clothes bucket.
Yeah.
They both
do. Yeah.
That's what I love about this movie. It goes from high to low. It's just, it's wonderful. What do we want to say about the fashion show? You said you guys had something to say about the fashion show. What do we want to say about the fashion show?
Okay, I'll let you guys go first.
It was clearly a way to say, hey, we've got Technicolor, because it served... If they wanted to put a fashion show in the film, fine. You can just show it from the women's point of view, or at least show a 15-second thing showing on the stage that there was a fashion show going on. The damn thing went on way too long. You're like, let's get the fuck over with this thing. I don't care about these fashions other than they're laughable, and which most fashion shows are anyway. They're never very realistic. So that was true, but it was just like, let's move on and get back to the film. It just made the film come to a dead stop.
It was clear that they just simply dropped it in place. It was not necessary. It was not filmed during the same time frame. None of it. It was just dropped in place. You can clearly see that, because the fashion portion of that was literally as they're walking, as Mary just finds out that Joan's in there, and she's walking back to her. She's walking away in almost tears to go, and you have that woman that jumps into her. "Hi, this is our new piece with
our new lace foundation garment. Zips up the back with no bones."
Yes, Brad, tell him what you asked me about that one.
What's the deal with no bones? I didn't know what the no bones meant. I thought maybe it wasn't showing her bony back. Because I couldn't think of anything else that it meant. It made no sense to me.
Because in high fashion, in certain fashions, they used to actually use bones in the material to keep it stiff.
That's amazing. The only reason I know that line is because I have a friend who went as that character one Halloween. And he literally walked around to everyone and said, "Our new one-piece lace foundation garment zips up the back with no bones." Everybody who got it screamed. It's so brilliant. No, it's funny because I agree with you, Maurice. And that long shot, Cukor doesn't get enough credit for being the really interesting director he is as far as camera moves. That long shot of Norma walking to the dressing room when she realizes that Joan Crawford's Crystal Allen, the woman who's sleeping with her husband, it's a very long tracking shot, and you get the real sense. He does this a couple times in the movie that Mary's on her own. She's all by herself. She's singular. She's walking all alone, and it's a wonderful shot. But then you have the showdown scene.
Yeah.
And there's some backstage stuff about the showdown scene, but before I talk about that, I was just curious what your thoughts both of you were about that showdown scene when they finally confront each other. Crystal and Mary.
Let me finish with the show, with the fashion show.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, that's okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So the fashion show, to me, was more like an interlude. That would be the point in a lot of older movies where you'd have, okay, we're doing this, and then we're going to break, and we're going to go, people can go out into the lobby, grab some more popcorn. That's what it felt like to me. However, in the play that we did in Los Angeles, we did use that as our intermission. So we actually had local fashion artists who actually did the show, but instead of in Technicolor, we had the show, the play itself was all in bright, vibrant colors, and we kind of geared the colors for each of the characters. So the Countess de Love had more dark, moody, like greens and kind of moody colors because she was always in love, but she was always kind of vibrant and up. So the fashion show, when we did that, it was all black and white outfits.
Oh, wow.
So fashion artists from around Los Angeles did these. And so you had all the different fashions, people coming out and showing the different fashions and everything. And it was supposed to be based from that time era. Then at the end of the fashion show, we broke and had intermission for the play, which was a lot of fun.
I love that idea.
That was genius.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so it works for that. Yeah,
it does.
But it doesn't work in the film at all, unless the film was actually 4 hours long. It's a 2 hour and 15-minute movie. It didn't need an intermission.
It's just amazing to me they put that in there. It's an incredible. Yeah, it lifts right. But if you notice some of those dresses that are in the fashion show in Technicolor are later in the film. Yeah. In black and white. They're kind of cool to see that. It's kind of cool to see that. It's kind of cool to see that.
Well, and if you look at it, a lot of the Technicolor stuff, the colors are super bright and vibrant, but if you really look at it, they're still designed so that they look good in black and white because Technicolor hadn't really come on the scene fully yet. It was still a new thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they finally have a showdown. Norma Shearer and Joan Crawford and Mary Haines and Crystal Allen. And it's a wonderful scene. It's another one of my favorite scenes in this movie just because of the lines, because I mean, they're just throwing barbs at each other. And my favorite line is probably when Norma Shearer's exit line, when she says to Joan, if you're dressing for Stephen, may I suggest something else? He doesn't like such obvious effects. And Joan Crawford says, thanks for the tip. But when anything I wear doesn't please Stephen, I take it off.
Yes, that was brilliant. Such a great scene. And my God, it made you, you didn't like Rosalind Russell's character and you weren't supposed to. And I loved to hate.
No, not Rosalind Russell.
No, I'm talking about Rosalind Russell.
Oh, okay.
You didn't like her character and you weren't supposed to. And it was fun to dislike her. It was fun to dislike Joan, but I mean, you just really, at least me, I hated that woman. Just hated her. She had no morals. God, they neither did. But she didn't give a damn of anyone but herself.
She's getting to she's going to make her life the best she can.
Rosalind Russell was despicable, but it's because she was playful in her own sick way.
Yes. She just...
Joan was a much different despicable person.
She lived for the gossip.
Yes.
Rosalind Russell did. She lived to see other people's misery. You know what I mean? But what I love what Cukor does with her in that scene is he told her to pretend like she was a bee, because if you notice, she's in one ear of Norma Shearer's and she's in the other ear of Norma Shearer. She's all over her, bothering her to get her to go into the dressing room. Yeah. And then there's that wonderful shot that's shot in the mirror. So it's 4 reflections of Rosalind Russell and 1 Norma Shearer. So she feels overwhelmed. Cukor did these amazing things he never gets credit for.
Yeah.
Which then spurs her on.
That scene between Shearer and Crawford it was beautiful. There's so many wonderful scenes.
Well, I mean, that scene also had that you knew what was going to happen the minute that she walked into that room. You knew what the outcome was going to be. So it was kind of like, why are you giving into this? You get that feeling, it's going to go this way already, but you really feel that why would you take this woman's advice? You know better than to listen to Sylvia,
I know, but she does it. And her mother even told her, don't confide in your girlfriends. Do you want just a little tidbit of behind the scenes from that scene?
Yeah, sure.
A little behind the scenes tidbit.
No, Tony, we have you here, so you can't give us the behind the scenes stuff.
So we know that we already established how Shearer and Crawford felt about each other. Okay, so this is their only scene together. This was their only scene, other than the final scene with all the women. This is the only scene between Shearer and Crawford. So when Cukor went to film it, he got the master shot between the two of them fine. But as you know in filmmaking, you do the master shot, and then you have to go in for the close-ups. One person's close-up and another person's close-up. Now, it's usually courtesy of one actor, when it's not their close-up, to feed the lines to the person whose close-up it is, so they can have the proper emotion. Well, Shearer said she would not be performing her off-camera lines for Crawford's reaction shots. So Joan Crawford had to do her reaction shots to George Cukor's lines. All right? When the time came for the reverse, Crawford was pissed, but she magnanimously agreed to do her part as a good actress and read her off-camera lines for Norma. So she did this the entire time she was knitting.
Oh, my God.
So she's reading her lines to Norma Shearer off-camera. Norma Shearer's on camera. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. To the point where Norma kept losing her concentration. And she asked Joan to stop knitting. Please stop knitting. And Joan said, oh, of course, dear Norma, of course. Action. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. What's the matter, dear Norma? So Norma became so infuriated, she told Cukor to send Joan home and have him read the lines. And Cukor told Joan, stop it, Joan. Stop knitting, read Norma the lines. And Joan got up and walked off the set saying, no one had ever been bothered by my knitting before. So Joan got some of hers back, I'll tell you right now. I love that
These
story.
big women were so small.
That's why I'm saying this is the Ryan Murphy show. I mean, these two, It's just crazy. It's too crazy. We talked about the scene on the train, where we meet Paulette Goddard and Mary Boland because they're in Reno getting a divorce, and we also meet Lucy, the one and only Marjorie Main, who has so many different versions, lyrics to On Top of Old Smoky. I couldn't keep up.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize that song had that many verses.
It's so funny. It's so funny. How about when Joan Fontaine asks Marjorie Main, have you ever been married before? And she goes, I've had 3. And she goes, husbands? Nah, kids. And she says, them big, strong, red-headed men, they're fierce.
I was like, oh, he beat you. How sad. She's like, yeah, when you really consider how many other women around here need to be beat.
Exactly. Can use a weapon. Ain't it, though? When you consider other women who need a lot more than I do. Oh, she's so wonderful. I love her. I love her. I love how these characters came in like halfway through, the Countess and Miriam and Lucy, and they just bring a whole new energy to the show, to the movie. What are some of your other favorite scenes, you guys? Scenes.
Ooh. Little Mary and Joan Crawford. Little Mary and in the bathtub scene.
Bathtub scene.
Okay, first of all, she's a stepchild, and she played the stepchild very well.
Yes. So Crystal is now married to Stephen
for 18 months.
For 18 months, and little Mary is now her stepdaughter, and she's in the bathtub, this luxurious, transparent bathtub with just enough bubbles to keep Joan Crawford covered.
Yes.
With a private extension. So yes, I love the dialogue between those two. To me, that saves Virginia Wilder in that scene. Her conversation with, just when she says, I think this bathroom is perfectly dreadful. Goodbye, Crystal. Good night, Crystal.
She said ridiculous. Yeah. So she's actually,
yes, ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. Because she's one of those that's like, oh, love is silly,
Yes.
But that's all she thinks about, because you can tell the way she talks about it. But mommy, why don't you and daddy love each other anymore?
What about you, Brad?
One of my favorite scenes is the final scene with all of them together, conspiring basically against Crystal, Joan Crawford's character, and locking her in the closet. I love that whole scene. And one of the reasons why I love the scene, and again, I hate to get a little negative on the film, one of the reasons why I love the scene is because Mary Haines was finally strong. She is manipulating and controlling that scene from beginning to end, and her whole purpose, for the first time and only time in the film, to bring Crystal down. And she does a beautiful job of it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm heartbroken at the very end. But I just love that whole scene.
It's taken her 2 freaking years to grow claws, mother.
Yes.
Jungle Red, which is the last line of the play, right, Maurice? That's how the play ends. It's taken 2 years, yeah. But they put that in the middle of that. They put it in the middle of that scene because they had to have that ridiculous last shot of Norma Shearer at the end, which we'll talk
Reaching out, yeah.
But the play is much different than the movie. I love the way, Buck Winston, who is the Countess de Lauve's new toy boy, whichever you want to say, is having the affair with Crystal, and how it all comes down on poor Mary Boland. Poor Mary Boland is the one who gets humiliated in that bathroom, and Norma doesn't give a shit. She just wants to get her husband back. That's what I don't like. I don't like that at all.
It did bother me.
I agree with you.
No, it bothered me as well. I felt really bad for her, and Mary just didn't give a damn at that point. She had her claws out, and kind of I liked it. I didn't like it, but because she was always kind of over all the other women, and she finally is like, screw them, it's my turn. So I didn't like it at the same.
I felt sorry for the Countess for a brief moment. But then she's also very bad judgment. She's already said, I'm a very bad judge of character, but love is the only thing that matters. She was also a smart businesswoman.
She was rich.
Thank you. She was super wealthy. She
was Dandy Gelatine.
Thank you.
Didn't she say about her first husband, Gustav, he pushed her off the side of an Alp, and she didn't realize until she was halfway down the mountain that Gustav doesn't love me anymore.
Yeah. But she fell into the arms of her third husband.
Which one of her husbands said she was an A1 schlemiel? I can't remember which one.
That was the last one, the Count. That she fell into the arms of.
An A1 schlemiel. I love Mary Boland so much.
That scene was my favorite, and the opening scene at the salon where it just was this montage going, and because I just thought that was so beautifully done.
Yeah.
Well, I said we were talking about Joan Crawford earlier about being maybe a little too old, and I get really moved by her at the end when she goes, she's like, well, that's it. I guess it's back to the perfume counter for me. She's not. She realizes she's defeated, and there's kind of a sadness in there because this is not a 25-year-old woman anymore. This woman is, pushing 35, and she's got to go back out there and hustle up another Stephen Haynes, and who knows how many. I mean, I'm sure she would have been fine. It's a fictional character.
You're nicer than I am. I felt nothing.
Did you? I find her kind of touching and moving, and I love that outfit. That was a very controversial outfit she has because she showed skin, and Louis B. Mayer didn't like that at all. But Adrian said it's the character. That's what I loved about Adrian too. He said, no, this is what the character would wear. It's garish. And it's sleazy, but it's sophisticated. And Joan Crawford and Adrian and George Cukor all went to the mat for that costume, which I love that too. But of course, there's the final scene. There's Mary Haines, haven't you got any pride? And what does Mary Haines say to that line? Anybody?
The worst line in it, which is basically, I am a woman in love. I can't have pride. I forget exactly the exact way she says it, but yeah.
Yes, pride is something a woman in love can't afford. And then you get that whole ridiculous, the music, and she does this thing about Norma Shearer. She does that silent film thing where she reaches her hands out because she sees Stephen and she runs into his arms. And you're like, oh, for Christ's sake. I hope she runs into his arms.
Thank you. That's exactly
right
the
out the
reaction
window.
Brad and I both had.
I wanted to run right into his arms and fall out a window. I swear. It's like, oh, Mary Haines, you deserved every terrible thing that happened to you in this movie.
I wanted to jump in the screen and grab her by the neck and say, what is wrong with you?
I was waiting for one of the dogs to run out and trip her.
It's just so, I mean, but they had to put that on. I don't know why they had to put that on there. I don't know what was wrong with the original ending from the play, but that's how the movie ends. Yeah. That's how the movie ends.
Yeah, and the Jungle Red in the film, the Jungle Red actually has a much more prevalent place. So that Jungle Red is repeated throughout the play, because it's like one of the big taglines in the play.
It's the theme of the play.
The biggest thing to me that is lost from the play to the movie is, and Mary is a perfect example of this, is in the movie it was all about love, and I love my man, I need my man back. And the play was all about my place in society. He is messing around, we're going to get divorced, and I'm going to lose my place in society. That was the big difference between the two. And that is
interesting.
In the end, Mary, like I gave that line of what I said I wish the movie was about, and let me pull that line up again. I've had to swallow my pride, but I'll be damned if I'll lose my place. And that was what the play was all about.
Yeah.
And the movie is about pride is something a woman in love, a luxury a woman in love can't afford.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can say, you can dislike the whole reasoning for the play, but at least the women had some strength. They knew what they wanted. In the movie, it was all, I'm helpless and weak and I need my man. And, of course, I am a man of the 2020s, but, earlier than that. But anyway.
I agree with you. It's good. You just have to put yourself in that and just go for the ride and enjoy it.
And you do, but it is awfully hard. It's
the performances for me. It's Rosalind Russell, so hysterically funny. It's Joan Crawford being the bitchiest bitch, and I love every moment of it. And watching her take down Norma Shearer is just delightful to me. It's delightful. I love it. So as Brad said, the movie was a hit. It lost money, actually, though, because it was so expensive because of that frickin' fashion show. But then it made money.
Really? I assumed it was from the cast of 10,000 because I always have notes, but I've been looking at my notes the whole time we've been talking because there's so many women in this movie.
Well, what did we say?
And they're all very different, and they all look very different, but it's so hard to keep up with them.
But so many of those women were under contract.
That's true. It is a different time.
Like we said about Grand Hotel, MGM was the only studio that could have made this kind of film. Now, some of those people weren't. Mary Boland wasn't under contract. I don't think Phyllis Pova was under contract. Paulette Goddard might have had some kind of contract. But we're talking about Russell and Shearer and Crawford, the big ones, were all under contract. So it wasn't like they were paying him any outrageous amount of money. It was the fact that you did have a huge cast. But think about it. This film has no exterior scenes either. It's all interiors. It was all on the soundstage. It's that frickin' fashion show, probably, that pushed it over. But it made money on its re-release, and it's mythic as far as I'm concerned. It's mythic. But I do have one last fun story about Norma and Joan that I want to tell. Just when you thought we were done with it.
Do tell.
The movie is over. And it's time for what? Publicity photos. So, when the time came for the group stills, all the three main ladies, Shearer, Crawford, and Russell, were all called at 10 a.m. and nobody showed up. Russell said she was kind of getting tired of getting the shrift from Norma Shearer, so she was going to be late. She was going to pull a little something and be late. So she waited. Nobody showed up at 10:30. Nobody showed up at 11. Finally, 11:30, Rosalind Russell comes in thinking she's going to be, here she is, the stars arrived. And she's like, I'm so sorry I'm late. And the photographer said, you're not late. You're the first one here. So Russell's like, wait a minute. I'm 2.5 hours late and I'm the first one here. So she goes outside and she sees Norma Shearer's car slowly driving around the publicity studio, Norma looking out of her window into the studio and then driving on. And then right behind her car is Crawford's car and Joan Crawford is doing the exact same thing, driving by slowly and looking in the studio and then driving on.
Dear God, these women have so much drama.
Because nobody wanted to be the first to arrive. That was the way it was. That's why Russell was 2.5 hours late. So the head of publicity, Howard Strickling, told the photographer's like, I have to get these shots. What am I going to do? He said to go out in the street and stop both cars. Put yourself in front of both cars, stop them, and bring them in together. And that's exactly what he had to do. Isn't that hysterical?
Wow.
They were still doing this after the film wrapped. I love that kind of stuff. I do.
It is unreal to imagine.
So this movie, as I said, was a hit, and it really set some people on their path. I mean, as we said, Russell, this was her first comedy. She went on to do iconic comedies after this. Joan Crawford had a bit of a career resurgence before her career fell again, and she finally left MGM. It was only Norma, poor Norma. This is her really last good movie. She retired from film completely 3 years later and never made another movie. So it's fascinating. But I just think it's such a damn good time, this movie. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a fun film. It's a fun ride, if nothing else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like, yeah, Maurice said it. It's a ride. It's a fun ride. It is a 5-ticket ride. And Disney, that was before my time, but it is a 5-ticket ride.
A 5-ticket ride. I like that. So that was a lot. Maurice, though, thank you so much for joining us today and suggesting this movie. I kind of like the fact that we're ending our second season on this movie. I think it's kind of fitting. I think it's a really great little send-off to end our second season.
Glad I could offer it.
That's good. So, Brad, is there anything you want to say about... Oh, before you do that, though, I think we have a review. We got a review, and I think we want to talk about that, don't we?
We do, but actually, I'm going to pull one out that I think you skipped on purpose, and I'm going to bring it up.
Oh, geez. Well, let me say this before you do that. So this is indeed the end of our second season, our season finale. But why don't you guys all go back and listen to an episode maybe that you didn't hear from the first season? Go way back. We've had a lot of people listening to our older episodes, which I find fascinating, and listening to. So please do that, and hey, please review one if you want. Go ahead, Brad.
Absolutely. So the one I'm going to bring up is our only 1-star review that had a comment.
Why are you going to do that?
Because I think there's you'll know why I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm not going to say anything terrible about the person. I don't understand. But the person's name is Angry LF. And the first part of their name fits. And I have all kinds of things I could say for the LF. But you know what? Here's the thing, Angry LF. His comment was, they called The Bad Seed deliciously terrible, with exclamation points and question marks. And then he says, any podcast that wrong about a film is not worth the time. So first of all, I want to say, Angry, I hope if you're listening that you're going to give us more chance, because the simple fact is there is no wrong about a film. This is a show where we talk about opinion. And some of our most common comments that we get from other listeners is they love it when they disagree with us because they love to scream at us, and they love it when they agree with us because they love to squeal and delight. That's the whole purpose of this show. So if you are going to be open-minded and maybe listen and learn from that, please continue. On the other hand, if that's not what you're going to do, I hope you're not even listening to this, because if you hate us that much, then maybe it's best if you don't continue to listen. The reason why I'm reading it, is because this guy who didn't get it gave us 1 star. So you were listening and you realize that brings down our average. Please go and rate and review this show, because we need our average back up due to Angry LF. So
we're all right.
That's why I wanted to do it first, because we want to end on a high note. And so I'm going to let you do your review here, Tony.
We'll balance that out with, and I don't really know how to say this name. It's Steph Mitch KR. So STEFMICHKR. And he gave us a 5-star, Mr. Angry. And he said, yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes is his title. He says, so happy I found you both. If you love, hate, or simply have opinions on movies, you'll love this pod, which I think is pretty much what you were saying, Brad. Pretty much what you were saying.
My gosh, that's somebody that gets it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Brad, this has been a long podcast, a long season. I think I said 37 episodes. I personally did. Is there anything else you want to say about the show or the podcast or anything else?
As I always say, to piggyback off everything we just talked about, if you enjoy our show, please, we don't get paid for this. The way we get paid is by your enjoyment of the show. So please go rate and review us, because that way you'll let others know that you enjoy the show and they'll say, hey, maybe I'll like it too. That's
right. Absolutely. Do that. Listen to some of the old ones. Leave us a review. Rate us 5 stars. And that's great. And since this is indeed our season finale, I want to thank all of the guests we had throughout the season to help us out. We had some really great guests, and I think we have some ideas for some really cool ones for next season. And it is also our unofficial holiday film, so I want to wish everybody a very, very happy holiday season.
And one thing I do want to add, we had more movies this season that were suggested by listeners, not as many as I would like. So please, listeners, offer us your suggestions as to the movies that you want us to do. Now, sometimes we don't do them because we feel like we've done that decade already a lot, and we try to do movies before 1990. But please, let us know what you want. First of all, let us know what you think of our reviews, and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
I love the idea. GoingHollywoodPod@gmail.com.
Thank you.
So, my friend from across the miles, I wish you and Maurice, thank you again, Maurice, a very happy, happy holiday. I guess there's only one thing left to say, but I'm too exhausted to say it. So let's not say goodbye. Let's just say, Jungle Red, Sylvia.
Jungle Red.
Well, normally I'd say, no, let's say goodbye, but I'm gonna go with you on that one.
We'll say it.
Jungle Red, Sylvia.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's all, folks.